Today's lesson is about multiplying 2 and 3 digit numbers without regrouping. So if you know your math facts, this is really simple. Let's look at this first problem to the left here. 22 times 3. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the ones place. I'm going to take my 3 and multiply it by 2. 3 times 2 is 6, and I'm just going to write that down. Alright, now I'm going to multiply my 3 times my tens place. 3 times 2 is 6, and I write it down. And it's that easy, so our answer is 66. 22 times 3 is 66. Let's try another one. We have down here, we have 13 times 3. I'm going to multiply my ones place first. 3 times 3 equals 9. And then I'm going to multiply my tens place. 3 times 1 equals 3. Now remember, you're always going to start with your ones place, just like you do in addition. When we do an addition problem, we start all the way to the right and we work our way to the left. You're going to do the same thing on these problems. So on a problem that's a little bit trickier, you're going to just do the same thing, like this one. 101 times 9. I multiply my ones place. 9 times 1 is 9. And then 9 times 0 is 0. And 9 times 1 is 9. So I just start at the right and I work my way to the left. Look at this one. 112 times 4. I start with my ones place. 4 times 2 is 8. So I write it down. Then I multiply my tens place. 4 times 1 is 4, and I write it down. And then 4 times 1 is 4. So I go ahead and write that down. So my answer, 112 times 4 is 448. Let's try another one. 132 times 3. I start with my ones place. 3 times 2 equals 6. Now I need to multiply my tens place. 3 times 3 equals 9. I just write it down. And then I multiply my hundreds place. 3 times 1 equals 3. Now, if you're doing multiplication problems, you're going to want to write them so that the biggest number is on the top. It just makes it so much easier for you. You write the biggest number on the top. So if you have problems that are written out horizontally, write them vertically. You need to write them vertically and put your biggest number on the top. Let's try one more. We have 202 times 3. 3 times 2 equals 6. 3 times 0 equals 0. And 3 times 2 equals 6. So 202 times 3 is 606. Alright, the second part of this lesson is about regrouping. The first problems we did, there was no regrouping, we just multiplied. Now remember, we've done regrouping before. We've done regrouping with addition. Look at this problem. We have 26 plus 26. So the first thing I do is I add my ones column. 6 plus 6 is 12. Remember, I write down my ones. I have 2 ones. And I regroup my 10. So I have 1 10 up here. 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. Now, I'm going to do basically the same kind of thing when I'm multiplying with regrouping. Let's try this first problem. I start with my ones column. 3 times 6 is 18. So I'm going to write down my ones place, which is an 8, and I'm going to write my tens place up here. So I have 18. Then I multiply my tens place. 3 times 2 is 6, and then I add the 1 that I carried up here. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So it's just like we did when we did an addition problem. Let's try another one. 82 times 2. This one's a little bit different, but we'll work through it. 2 times 2 is 4. And then I multiply my tens. 2 times 8 is 16. So, since there's no number in the hundreds place, I'm just going to write that 16 down right in front of the 4. And my answer is 164. Let's try another one. 35 times 4. We multiply our ones place. 4 times 5 is 20. So I write down my ones. I have 0 ones. And I put my tens up here. I have 2 tens. Okay. Multiply my tens place. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. And I just write it down. I went ahead and just wrote it down instead of carrying because I don't have a number in my hundreds place. My hundreds place has a 0. There's nothing there. Alright, look at this problem. 89 times 4. 9 times 4 is 36. I write down my ones, which is 6. Carry my 3. 4 times 8 is 32. Plus 3 is 35. So I'm just going to write that down. So my answer is 356. Now, always remember to work from right to left. Look at this problem. We need to start and multiply our ones place. 5 times 9 is 45. So I write down my ones, which is 5. Carry my 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So I write down my ones and carry my 1 here. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 1 more equals 26. So 529 times 5 is 2,645. Let's try one more. We have 815 times 5. We multiply our ones. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry my 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. Then I multiply my hundreds. 5 times 8 is 40. So I just write down that 40. So my answer is 4,075.